Hey guys, it's Pastor Katie. It is Holy Saturday, and I'm going to read you the story of Easter today from my Jesus Storybook Bible. We got to see some of the pictures at the end of yesterday's video, but I'm going to read the rest of the story to you today. God's wonderful surprise. This comes from Matthew 28, Mark 16, Luke 24, and John 20. Jesus' friends were sad. They would never see their best friend again. How could this happen? Wasn't Jesus the rescuer? The king that God had promised? It wasn't supposed to end like this. Yes, but who had ever said anything about the end? Just before sunrise on the third day, God sent an earthquake, an angel from heaven, and when the guards saw the angel, they fell down with fright. The angel rolled a huge stone away and sat on top of it and waited. The first glimmer of dawn, Mary Magdalene and the other women huddled to the tomb to wash Jesus' body. The early morning sun slanted through the ancient olive trees, drops of dew glittering on the leaves and grasses, little tears everywhere. The friends walked quietly along the hilly path, through the olive groves, until they reached the tomb, and immediately noticed something odd. It was wide open. They peered through the opening into the dark, but wait, Jesus' body was gone. And something else was there, a shining man with clothes made from lightning. "Don't be scared," the angel said, but they couldn't help it. They screamed anyway. The angel said to them, "What are you doing here? This is a tomb, and tombs are for dead people." The women couldn't speak. "Jesus isn't dead anymore," he said. "He's alive again." And their hearts leapt. Then the angel laughed with such gladness that they felt, for in that moment it was like they had woken up from a nightmare. The other women rushed home, but Mary stayed behind. How could this be true? Jesus was definitely dead, but how could he be alive? Just then Mary heard someone else in the garden. Perhaps it's the gardener, she thought. Maybe he'll know where Jesus' body is. "I don't know where Jesus is," Mary said urgently. "I cannot find him." But it was all right. Jesus knew where she was, and he had found her. Mary. The only person who said her name like that. She could hear her heart thumping as she turned around. She could make out the figure. She had to shade her eyes to see. She thought she was dreaming, but she wasn't. She was seeing Jesus. Mary fell to the ground. Suddenly, tears filled her eyes, and great sobs shook her whole body. And all she wanted to do in that moment was to cling to Jesus and never let go. "You'll be able to hold on to me later, Mary," Jesus said, "and always be close to me. But for now, go and tell the others that I'm alive." So Mary ran and ran all the way to the city. She had never run so fast or so far in her life. She felt like she could run forever. She didn't even feel like her feet had touched the ground. The sun seemed to be dancing and gleaming and bounding across the sky, racing with her and shining brighter than she could ever imagine, remembering the fresh, clear air. And it seemed to her that in morning she ran almost as if her body had been made anew, almost as if the whole world was singing for joy, the trees, the tiny sounds of the grass, the birds, her heart. Was God really making everything sad untrue? Was he really making even death untrue? She couldn't wait to tell Jesus' friends. "They won't believe it," she laughed. And she was right, of course. Well, my hope and my prayer for you is that you would remember the good news that Jesus is alive, and that truth promises us that no matter what, God offers us love and grace and hope and promise. And tonight, may you rest well. Good night.